Well, I remember seeing back in the day, it was like I would have to find Nico like video recordings that were posted elsewhere if I wanted to see like really cool Kirby Superstar gameplay. And I remember seeing these players. I don't know if it was Tool Assistant or it's just something you can do, but there's like a flight cancel where like the whole time like Kirby's like when he's going upwards, he's just like upside down. So it's like seeing Kirby fly upside down is like very, very cute, very goofy. I don't know how to do it myself. I've never tried this, but I know it's a thing that can happen.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kirby Conversations. I'm Sean Douglas. I'm a writer, podcaster, and teacher, and I am back again with Bridget. Hi, Bridget.
Hello, my name's Bridget. I am a Kirby fan artist, commentator, longtime fan. I'm happy to be here.
And Kirby Conversations is part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, along with Flashback 64 and Pixels and Polygons. We hope you'll check out those shows when this one is over. But for today, we are talking about the classic subgame from Kirby Super Star. We're talking about Gourmet Race, which for a very short game that can be completed in like 3 minutes, maybe, if you want to do the time trials and race King Dedede, like, I don't know, the whole thing can be done in just a few minutes. For a game that's quite short, it really endures in the Kirby imagination. This is something that people continue to play. The theme song is very enduring. People speedrun it. People look for tech in the different for how to maximize their time on the different tracks. And it even makes a cameo in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So there's a lot to talk about the Gourmet Race, even if it is quite short. So first of all, first impressions. Bridget, what do you think of Gourmet Race?
So, I really enjoy this mini game. I think it's like it adds nice variety to the whole package. I feel like whereas everything else is like your general like platforming action adventure, this is like something entirely different with the racing element. So you have to approach it differently. I think even the way you move feels different. So it's like an exciting change of pace. I think in the middle of the package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we forget how novel it was to just suddenly have a racing game in the middle of this platforming game. The fact that they're like, let's come up with all these different, like, so Kirby Superstar was intentionally created in this omnibus format. It was meant to present a bunch of different options, and they really wanted to emphasize the two-player aspect. This is unfortunately not a two-player game unless you're playing Kirby Superstar Ultra. The original Super Nintendo version doesn't have the two-player, but the idea was to bring in all these different types of experiences, and then they thought, why not? Let's make a racing game too. And we're going to see future Kirby racing experiences, right? We're going to get Kirby Air Ride. We have a new Kirby Air Ride coming out this year. But this was the first time you were racing with Kirby. And it actually works really well. You've got 3 different tracks. There's a time trial mode. There's also a competitive mode where you race against King Dedede. So it still feels like there's a lot going on. And Kirby's movement is different. He's faster in this version. It feels like a racing game. Like, I think they pulled it off.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I did not know that the Ultra version had 2 players. I don't remember, but if it does, that's cool addition. But yeah, I like it, and I do like the change in movement too, and the speediness of it, and the way you have to like I like it too because it's like normally you think racing, you think you have to be in a vehicle or something like that. There has to be something about a traditional track that you can kind of see overhead or something like that. But this works where it's like about momentum and like how you have to suddenly change. How you maneuver like with your environment to like get like some top times or even like collecting if you're getting the food in the level, that I find like, oh, it does still have that real exciting racing vibe feel to it.
Yeah, it's got that tension, right? It gets intense. And there's 3 different tracks, which I think both of us did not realize that these tracks had names originally. But they do. So the first track, which is the most linear of the 3, is called Pumpkin Grand. And then the second, or I should say, in the United States, in the English translations in the United States, you've got Pumpkin Grand. The second stage is Corn Hall, and the last one is Onion Garden. And they get progressively more complex. Taking a look at some of the translations in other languages, I do find these always to be very amusing. So thank you to the folks at Kirby who compile these. But looking at the translations for Pumpkin Grand, in Japanese it's also Pumpkin Grand, but then in French we have Pumpkin Marathon, or like what it translates to in French. In German we have Pumpkin Prairie. In Italian we have Pumpkin Garden. And in Spanish we have Pumpkin Field. So those are a little bit more straightforward. For Corn Hall, some of them I thought were kind of amusing for Corn Hall. So in Japanese, we have Sorghum Hall, that classic sorghum reference to really appeal to the kids, right? They just want to play games with sorghum references in them. And in French, we have the Corn Prix, which I sort of like the pun on that. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
wordplay there. In German, we have Millet Hall, again appealing to the kids who just love their millet. In Italian we have Corn Salon, and in Spanish we have Corn Orchard, Huerta del
Oh.
Maíz. And then for Onion Garden we have, in Japanese it's Onion Circus. I'm sorry, in Japanese it's Onion Garden. In German it's Onion Circus. In French it's Radish Raid. In Italian it's Onion Gardens. And Spanish also Onion Garden. So somehow
It's radish in that one country.
yeah, they're like, these are not onions here. We localize this for the radish fans in France. Do you have a favorite track, Bridget?
I guess I like them all, to be honest, but I guess the third one is obviously like the juiciest one. It's got the abilities, it's got a lot more going on, it's a bit longer. Yeah, it's a little bit more like of a challenge to like optimize it. It's also like impossible, I feel like, in the next two tracks to sort of do like this challenge I like to do where I like try to take all the food before DDD can touch it. This is not really possible in the later tracks, but you can do in the first track as a fun challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen like tool assisted things where they can like make sure they get all the food and like King Dedede doesn't get anything, but I don't think you can really do that just playing normally. I guess based on just like the look of the levels, like I kind of like the look of Pumpkin Grand a lot. It has a certain kind of like 3D 16-bit sort of like look to it. I don't know. We're here on with Kirby, and there's a nice sort of piece of art for Pumpkin Grand, but I do like all of them.
Yeah, I like those like air balloons in the back.
Yeah, like it's got a certain whimsy to it that I kind of miss about modern Kirby, where it is a little bit more surreal and less overtly like kawaii. And I think Sakurai has said that he doesn't feel like some of the 3D rendering was that successful in this game, but
Yeah.
I like it. I like the look of it. But actually, I like all of these levels quite a bit. And it's cool that it like saves your ghost too.
Yeah, the ghost is very helpful, I believe, if you're doing the individual tracks. And I agree. I like. I find I get the rendered graphics haven't dated quite well in terms of 3D graphics, but I just find it like kind of charming of the time. I like super into like 90s like weird 3D graphics type stuff. So I think it's cool. I think it's like memorable at least, you know.
Yeah, and actually, the more that I look at the backgrounds in some of the other stages, like they're just flying past you when you're actually playing. But like the more I look at the background, like they are surprisingly detailed. And I actually like the looks of all of these. Like they're cool, surreal little environments, which I guess in not every translation says where they are, but it says here that various Japanese sources, including the manual, but says that the Gourmet Race is taking place in a large orchard called Gurimeto, and in English it's translated to Gourmet World. So I wish they
Whoa.
would go back to Gourmet World. Gourmet World is pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like, I mean, I guess like the remake is sort of a more later interpretation of it, but seeing it like in the actual, I guess that's one bummer with like the remake is like it's you know it's a remake of the original, but I feel like the original was trying to be like 3D before 3D was a thing. So I feel like a remake now would be like, I would kind of want to see what they would do in 3D with it, right? Like full 3D.
Superstar Ultra looks good too, but I'm just a little partial to the look of the original.
Yeah, I think we're in the minority, but I think we both also like the original for a lot of reasons. Still, um, maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's not. I don't know. I actually didn't have a Super Nintendo growing up. We had like a Sega Genesis, so I don't have like childhood nostalgia for this game. I just have like an appreciation for it as a Super Nintendo game that I just think is like really cool. And I still think it's really cool. So I mean, I still, as two different experiences here, I feel like we still feel the same way about it.
Yeah, and I still think like Superstar Ultra looks good. I think just some of the
Yeah,
character
for sure.
designs, like I like how King Dedede looks in the original a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's some
No,
differences, but
they're both good, yeah, for different reasons. So can't go wrong.
and even the remake is like from quite a while ago now.
Yeah, now it's retro also. So I mean, you could choose retro, extra retro.
I did not realize too. I mean, I guess I never really thought one way or the other about it, but the times are different between the different games. Like the record times that people can achieve are different between Ultra and the original because it's not an exact one to one recreation.
Yeah, yeah. It's plus they have kind of different physics, so like the way they feel or move will probably be different. At least that's something I noticed because I played a lot of Superstar before Kirby Superstar Ultra came out, and I did pick up on differences. And even like doing the boss rush was different in the remake, so that doesn't surprise me.
Listen to Flashback 64, the chronological Nintendo 64 podcast. Hosts Gooey, McKenna, and friends flashback to the 90s and early 2000s with a look at the Nintendo 64's catalog and its contemporary cultural and historical context. Starting with the console's launch titles and proceeding in release order, we discuss classics like GoldenEye, Super Mario 64, and Star Fox 64, as well as some not-so-beloved games, lesser-known titles, and everything in between. Along with game-specific deep dives, we also cover other bits of pop culture from the time, like films, music, and more. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
So I know you were putting together some tips about how people can maximize their times and be the best gourmet racers they can be. Do you have some tips for our listeners if they want to try to get the best times? Because you can still, even if like it's not that hard to beat King Dedede, but if you want to go back to time trial, or if you're trying to like beat King Dedede as decisively as you can, there's still like a lot of ways you can continue to test yourself in this. So do you have some suggestions for how people could uh, maybe improve their times?
I sure do. I have a whole list of suggestions here.
Don't
Uh,
let King Dedede see that.
yes, for Kirby's eyes only. Um, so, like, one of them, you mentioned the ghost earlier, and yeah, you should use the ghost to practice with. I think the thing with the individual courses is they don't have the food so that you can practice like where the food is, but you can still practice how to move around the course, which is going to require you to analyze like how you want to jump over a hurdle or like how you want to land or how you want to like run over a gap or something. And like with the ghost you can also kind of see where your ghost gets like stuck or like fumbles or whatever, and you could be like, oh, I like really like got stuck in this one section, so let me try to like avoid that or whatever. Like it's a great way to practice. So I recommend that. Even if you're missing the food, it's good for the tracks. Here's like a hot tip that I don't know that I see people talk about or use or not, but I use it sometimes, which is you can use blocks that you inhale or puffs when you exhale to collect food. Like, did you know
I
that?
did know that, yeah. Which doesn't
Oh,
work on the
okay,
other
great.
modes. But you can collect
No,
but you can
yeah.
collect things with air bullets in this one.
Yeah, this is the only mode where like you can actually collect stuff with like your exhale attacks. So it's interesting, and you can use this for like getting ahead of like a really valuable like point. Like if you're getting a maxim tomato or just like trying to get ahead. There's also a bit of a boost, I feel, or a little bit of speed when you have something in your mouth in this game, and so like you can kind of grab it and then shoot it and keep going. So it's pretty useful. Same thing in the air. If something's like right in front of you, but you want to land, just grab it, land. Try that out. And another tip is do not clear the path for King Dedede. He will take advantage of it. It's very funny. You'll like go out of your way to like suck up a block and clear the path for him, and he's just gonna run right through. It doesn't matter that his sprite is huge, he's gonna get past you, so don't clear the path for him. Let him break the block. Don't you do it. Also, get the Maxim tomatoes. They're worth 30 points. That's a lot of points, especially if you're getting more than one on a track, especially over the course of 3 tracks. That can amount to a big like score where you're very much ahead of him. So that is another one. Uh, Also, you can run over gaps. If there's like a kind of a gap between like slight platformers that you can just like run across, like you kind of see this in Mario. Like if you've played Mario, there's sometimes little platforms with little gaps, but you can just run across all these small platforms as long as you keep your top speed or your momentum going. You can kind of do that. You can do this in this game too, as well. So instead of like stopping or jumping or like shifting your momentum, just keep running over those, and that'll keep you going straight ahead. Um, Also, master your double tap dashing, especially at the start of the race. Like it'll give you like such a like you'll be so far ahead right from the gate if you just like immediately like double tap and keep going. So get used to that. Get used to double tapping. It's good. And then my final advice would be to learn where the food is going to be on your path. So just practice track against DDD. Try to like remember where the food's going to be, especially if it's on your path that you want to go. There might be food that's a little off the path that might not be worth it. And if that's the case, just at least get everything on your way to the goal, especially ahead of King DDD, because you win if you get there ahead and then also have the most points. So yeah, these are a bunch of tips if you
Nice.
want to master Gourmet Race.
And before we started recording, I asked you if there was a best power to take in Onion Garden, and you thought Wing
Yeah,
was the best?
I thought Wing was the best. I mean, you should use the power you're most comfortable with if you want. Because I feel like all the powers they give you do like give you some kind of like mobility that is unique and good in the course. Like with Ninja, you can sort of wall hop vertically. So for those vertical sections, you could go faster. But with Wing, you can kind of go fast, vertically, horizontally. You could dive bomb if you're going down. It just gives you a lot of versatility, like for movement. Jet is also good. That's good vertically or horizontally as well, but sometimes you have to like store a bit of power. So I don't know. I'd say Wing is probably the best in my opinion.
And one thing I forget if it's true or not, and I've been looking it up while you were talking. Do the projectiles that you have when you're a ninja, do those also collect food the same way the air bullets do?
Oh, you know what? I
I,
don't know. I don't think I've tried collecting it
so, I mean, I could
that
test it
way.
out right now. I have it here. But I
Okay.
think that it does. I mean, I would need to play for like a minute to get there. Um,
Does that mean that Wings like feather attack could also pick them up too? I'm guessing.
that is a good question. Let me so don't quote me on that, listeners. I will quickly get to Onion Garden and try to use Ninja to grab some food while we are talking. But you said that there's also some interesting tech that like Japanese players do with Wing.
Well, I remember seeing back in the day, it was like I would have to find Nico like video recordings that were posted elsewhere if I wanted to see like really cool Kirby Superstar gameplay. And I remember seeing these players. I don't know if it was Tool Assistant or it's just something you can do, but there's like a flight cancel where like the whole time like Kirby's like when he's going upwards, he's just like upside down. So it's like seeing Kirby fly upside down is like very, very cute, very goofy. I don't know how to do it myself. I've never tried this, but I know it's a thing that can happen.
Nice. I've also noticed, like when I was looking at the like world records for the Grand Prix, while there were definitely some like very competitive, like difficult times that were like way ahead of what I finished in. Like just doing it sort of cold without having done it in a long time, I finished in about like 2 minutes 20. And there's like a time in like the leaderboard that was like 2 minutes 30. Like they seemed like times that there's definitely room to improve upon like some of them. Okay, let's see if Ninja can get this tomato. Oh, it worked. It does work.
It works?
It does work. So you can grab food with what are those called? The things that he throws. Are they kunai?
The kunais, yeah.
So it does work to use that to grab things as well. That makes me kind of curious about about Wing too. I guess Wing would probably work as well, right? Maybe.
I'm assuming,
Probably.
yeah, because you have little like feathers that you throw out. So it'd be weird if it didn't, but I'm guessing it does if that's the case.
Yeah. So it probably
listeners can test that out if they'd like.
Yeah, I guess when you're done listening to this, you can hop in and test it out. But yeah, so there's different tech you can do with the powers that I did not previously know about, but that definitely opens up a lot of possibilities. One could really imagine like an even bigger version of this where you have multiple stages that have multiple powers, which I guess gets us kind of into Kirby Air Ride territory. But like 2D foot racing Kirby like seems like it has more untapped potential. But maybe that's also what speedrunning is, right?
Yeah, I've also kind of was curious, like you know when F-Zero 99 came out, and I was like, oh, cute sprite based SNES kind of battle royale style thing that people made out of something a classic game. Like I was like, I couldn't help but not think of like something as strange, but with like a gourmet race or whatever at the time, just a bunch of sprites running across the screen. I don't know how that would work at all, but I just thought it was like, oh. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if they ever visited this like idea. But I guess in a sense, spiritually, they have with games like Dream Buffet as well. Which the whole idea is collecting food on your way to the goal as well, which is definitely Gourmet Race right there. And yeah, we have Kirby's Air Ride, which maybe like we don't even know what new modes this game will have, and maybe who knows, there could be like a more gourmet inspired type of mode. So,
and there's been other like sub games over the years that are like races and time based and stuff like that. So there's a lot of ways that Kirby has raced in the years since, but this is where it started. I don't think there was any kind of racing prior to this. There would have just been Dreamland and Kirby's Adventure, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the world records, like I noticed that like, well, there are some people that are like very clearly dominant on the leaderboards. Like it doesn't look like they had like that many people. And like I understand that like this is a niche thing, right? To speedrun Gourmet Race. But at the same time, it seemed like there were also a lot of times that like I looked at and was like either better than or like was like kind of like maybe like approaching, and it's like I'm definitely not a speedrunner, right? Like I'm not going to be able to shave off like 30 seconds from that probably, but where I'm like, oh, I could probably shave off a few seconds from my time, and that would kind of put me in sort of the mix here. So, and like that's, you know, just playing very casually. So it does make me wonder what people could accomplish if what boundaries there still are to break with speedrunning this.
Yeah, I'd be curious too, and I feel like it's already maybe a little more. Not that it's super niche that there's like superstar runners. I'm guessing superstar runners would like is kind of like a way you can see some gourmet raid speed runs, but not specifically focused on gourmet raids. So it would be neat, but unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, let's look at the world records. In Superstar Ultra, they have the world record is 1 minute and 27 seconds, 0.990.
That seems faster, right? You said the other one was 2?
So I just doing it sort of cold got like 2 minutes 20, and that was like really, really cold. And then for Kirby Superstar, just the original, the record right now is doing the Grand Prix in 1 minute and 29 seconds. So there's definitely a very like tight group of people at the top, but then I can see it starting to kind of like get more into, I could when I just did it sort of casually, like I was faster than the person that's like 21st here at the very bottom. No offense to them or anything. It's just like a time that like seemed like just playing very casually one could still beat. But there's like a tight group of maybe 20 or so people, and I think that is interesting to think of like really short form speed running, right? We think of speed running normally in terms of
Yeah.
like longer games, but it's like trying to shave off like a single second of this like minute and a half long experience. But like that's like a big deal, right? If you can cut a second off, right? So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some boundaries that have yet to be pushed on what you can do in Gourmet Race. Who knows? And then it's also in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. You can visit in the World of Light. There's a Gourmet Race section where you can get King Dedede. You can unlock him, and then you can also get the spirits for Chef Kawasaki and Waddle Dee. I remember this being a very fun surprise when I found it for the first
Yes.
time.
Yeah, I know it's like a contentious mode, but like there were things in there that were referenced like in a very like a fun way that I was like, oh, I ended up remembering that, and this is like one of those. It's pleasant. There's some pleasant surprises in there.
Yeah, Sakurai calling back to one of his earlier games, and you want to find the right path to get the most amount of food.
Yeah, he's still thinking about it. I guess this is why he's so into the idea of doing a Kirby Air Ride sequel. I think he's into racing.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder what his background is with other racing games. I'm sure that's out there, but I just don't happen to know off the top of my head.
I mostly know that he likes driving, like in real life.
He does, yeah. On Harada's talk show, he talked about his cars and stuff.
Oh, is that the one where he says he doesn't like drinking water or something? He has to drink like a Coke or Diet Coke or something?
Yeah, I think that's the same one. I mean, it's like a long interview that's like broken down into different parts.
Yeah.
He likes cars more than I would have expected.
Yeah, he likes cars.
He has a fancy car that he likes driving around.
Yeah. As I have a brother who also loves like cars, so I mean I get it.
Maybe that's his new. Maybe like that'll be a character in Kirby Air Riders. It's just Sakurai in that specific car they referenced.
Oh my god, like hyper realistic. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What
I
did
mean,
you say?
Just the idea of this hyper realistic car inside the game. I like it.
I mean, they had like the BMWs in Mario Kart. Maybe they'll just license some car brand.
I remember that. Yeah, that was weird. Was that in the Wii U one?
Well, isn't it in Mario Kart 8?
Oh, maybe, yeah. I remember it was one of them, and it's very funny. And you would think it would be more off-putting than it was, but it was just kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, like Mario Kart. Yeah, so the Wii U one. It did feel like odd, but it didn't take me out of the experience. I don't know. I guess I'm not. I guess I just never really thought too hard about like where Mario found a BMW dealership or like where the cars are coming from. I guess I've never asked those questions.
Yeah, so here's a possibility for Kirby Air Riders. If you can ride an ice cream machine, then why not?
Speaking of Mario Kart, when you were talking about doing Gourmet Race as a battle royale, I was thinking of knockout mode in Mario Kart 9. And like that
Yeah.
would be interesting if like, you start with a certain number of Kirby's and like a whole bunch gets like cut off after a certain amount of time. And
Oh yeah. Like you don't have a certain amount of food or something you've collected, maybe. I don't know. That could work. I don't know. I feel like you could still do a lot with that idea. And maybe Hal will one of these days. I wouldn't even mind as like another like mini game. Like they're still putting mini games in Kirby games, so why not?
and then one last thing I wanted to touch on is the iconic theme song. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like such a famous Kirby song by Jun Ishikawa. And I was reading an interview that he did for the 25th anniversary concert. This was from the concert pamphlet. And this is an interview that's translated for an English-speaking audience by Gigi, who's one of our producers on the show. So thank you, Gigi. I like how I can just like search for random things like without deliberately like seeking out her work necessarily. And it's like, oh, of course this is a Gigi thing, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
when you find something out there, it's like, oh, it's Gigi. So they were talking about Gourmet Race. They asked him about the appeal of Kirby sound, Kirby-like music, and Jun Ishikawa says, by the way, Gourmet Race was part of a longer answer, but he says, by the way, Gourmet Race was ordered as, quote, a song in the vein of an athletic meet. When it comes to an athletic meet, the classic Chico's Post is well known, which is a famous gallop, which I guess I had heard of before. I had to look it up, but it like comes up in a lot of things. If you were to look it up right now, Bridget, Chicos is spelled Cikos post. It'll probably ring a bell because it does sound a little bit like Gourmet Race. But he says when it comes to an athletic meet, the classic Chico's Post is well known. So I thought of a song like that, but it didn't connect with the Kirbiness I had created in my mind. So I was quite troubled. And then one day I realized if I could make it a ska rhythm like cha 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 cha, I don't know, NCH, NCH, or NCHA, 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 it would be more like a Kirby rally. As soon as I thought of that, a flash of inspiration flashed through my mind, and the entirety of Gourmet Race was completed. So,
Yeah. That's amazing. Uh, I find it so amazing when people are able to just like something just clicks, right? And then like an iconic moment is like just created from that eureka moment. And it is like I can't imagine like with Green Greens, like I can't imagine, or even King Dedede's theme, like the idea of the Kirby series and not like hearing or having Gourmet Race chosen as like a song, that you reference in terms of the franchise. You know, it's amazing. I feel like the second song that plays on the second course as well is really good too, and unfortunately is like overshadowed by it. But like, man, Gourmet Race, it's
yeah,
great.
all the songs are really good. I hadn't thought of it as a ska song too, but I guess it is.
I didn't know that. I wouldn't have thought of that either, but guess I guess that works. Yeah, I don't know if that's what comes to my mind, but yeah.
Anything else you have to say about Gourmet Race? Still fun to play today? Still very much worth
It's
going
still
back to?
fun. Yeah, it's fun. I think a multiplayer updated version would be great in a new game. I think it was a great way to add a new mode without having to really it's not a big mode. It probably wasn't demanding in the same way as making like Great Cave Offensive, but it was like a stroke of genius to sort of take just Kirby's own movement and sort of, play with it and then uh, use the same kind of environmental like the way the environment works to like create tracks and stuff and function as a racetrack. I think it's really good, really memorable. The music's memorable, and I think it also says something actually about King Dedede. Like I kind of like it in terms of if you want to read into his character or whatever in this game. It's like the first game is sort of a remake of Dreamland, where King Dedede's sort of this bad guy, but then at this point, this is sort of like, yeah, he's your rival, You're not really doing anything to save Dreamland or anything like that. It's just the two characters as they are seen now, and it's like it's sort of internal game progress for the character. It's not super explicit, but I sort of read it that way.
That's a really good point. Like, this is the first time we see them just in a friendly competition together.
Yeah.
And now that's just such a core thing we see the characters doing all the time with each other.
Yeah, now they're always helping each other or doing, if you're playing the Magalore Land, Merry Magalore Land, you're still doing little competitions with each other. So, it's still fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, this is the start of saying, like, yeah, and sometimes these characters are just going to be your friendly rivals.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for us, but we want to hear your thoughts, too, about Gourmet Race. Do you have any particularly fond memories of playing this, either the original or the remake in Kirby Super Star Ultra? Do you have any tips, or how do you play Gourmet Race? Let us know, and you can reach out to us at mail@kirbyconversations.com. But this has been another episode. Again, I'm Sean Douglas. I'm here with Bridget. And Kirby Conversations is also produced by Gigi and Nintendo Ambassador Kai, Captain Dangerous Parker. And we are part of the Soundstone Podcast Network, along with Flashback 64 and Pixels and Polygons. And we hope you will check out those shows as well. And we do have a YouTube channel now. I know I've been talking about how we've been trying to work out a new YouTube strategy, and that's because we were still sort of figuring out where we'd be putting recordings of our episodes, because we had our own channel, but I wanted to do something more with the network. So we now have a Soundstone channel that's brand new, so there's not a ton there yet, but we're going to be posting videos of at least our longer episodes. We'll get videos and put on there. Maybe not every single thing that goes into this feed, but we're going to regularly put out video versions of this show as well. Not where you like see us, but like the recordings will be there on YouTube if that's your preferred place to listen to podcasts. Because people do ask us sometimes, like, oh, are you on YouTube? So we want to make sure that we're there too. But you can find us there. But the main way to find us is on Blue Sky, so we hope you'll find us there as well. And of course, if you like the show, please consider leaving us a review. Reviews go a long way in helping the show. So if you enjoyed it, we really appreciate it if you can leave any sort of positive comment there. Our theme music is by Megan Kells in a new arrangement by Duncan Pixel T. Smith. And we will be back again soon with more Kirby Conversations.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, my name's Darren Hupke. I'm a writer, publisher, and podcaster. My podcast is called Pixels and Polygons. Each week I sit down with a guest and ask one simple video game question. It's a random topic each week and it leads to a fun conversation. You can find it on your favorite podcast platform every Friday, and you can read more about it at pixelsandpolygons.net.